Okay, so in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the fact that you don't actually own any of the intellectual property or the copyright of any work that your contractors create for you. That could be remote workers, it could be virtual assistants, it could be people working for you on a project basis or whatever. Unless that is that you put some simple things into place so that they automatically hand over ownership of the work they create when they actually do that. So that is what this episode is all about, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so this topic came up in a group that I was running, and it was all about someone's graphic designer working for them and creating some assets for them. I just mentioned, have you assigned or have you had a copyright assignment document signed by your graphic designer? And the person had no idea what I was talking about. And this is something that I learned about when I read a book by Shireen Smith called Legally Branded, and it's a brilliant book and I highly recommend it. And I've actually interviewed Shireen on this podcast about this and other topics as well, so do check that out if you've not listened to that episode. But this specific topic is so simple to fix and so important for you and your business that I felt it deserved its own episode just to basically cover it. Now, the issue here is the fact that if somebody creates something, like if you just literally write on a piece of paper some words, you own the copyright to those words. The words I'm speaking right now, I own the copyright to these words. They are my words. They're coming out of my brain. I own them. Similarly, if I create a diagram or a picture or a graphic, or if I write some programming code and create some API code, or whatever the creative activity you are doing, you own that by the virtue of you created it. Now in the UK, that's an automatic ownership, and therefore you as the creator of that work own it. Now, even if you are working for somebody else, you actually can still retain that ownership. And that is the case that if you work for somebody as a contractor, that is, you're not under a employment contract, and therefore the work that you do is not actually deemed as being directly for the person. You do the work and then you sell that to the person, like you sell your services under contract. So for example, working with a virtual assistant who's not got a employment contract, working with a contractor, programmer, graphic designer, video editor, anyone like that who's actually working on a project basis or on an hourly rate or contract basis, all of those things, they fall under this problem. That is, you haven't got an employment contract with them, and therefore they own the work that they do. That means any work that they create for you while working for you under contract is theirs. They have the rights to it, not you, even though you paid them to create it. Now, that may seem backward, but that's the way it is. And I've discussed this with a solicitor as well, who confirmed that this is correct. This is the correct for the UK. I can't speak for other countries, but you should check it out in your whatever country of residence you live in, just to make sure that this isn't an issue in your country. And then, but the good thing is that, as scary as that may be, that you think, my God, all that work I've had created for me, do I not own any of it? And the answer is, as I said, no. But there is, thankfully, a very, very easy fix. And that is to have all of your new staff as they start, and I just have this as part of our onboarding process. They just sign a short document, and it's called an assignment of intellectual property rights. And it's a document you can get for free. There's the one I found for free on the internet was on a site called seedsummit.org. And it's intellectual-property-assignment. So it's seedsummit.org/intellectual-property-assignment/. That should take you to that. It's not a site I have any affiliation with. I can't vouch for that being, a perfectly legal document, but it's at least a good starting point. And you can always speak to, a solicitor or somebody who knows this stuff, or speak to Shireen Smith, who definitely knows this stuff, if you want to get some more help with this. And once you've got that document, you simply send it over to your new staff and say, hey, can you put your name on this and sign this, put the date they started working for you, and you can backdate this as well, by the way. So if you're in a position where you've got staff that have worked with you for a number of weeks or months or even years, then actually they can backdate to the date they started with you, and any work that you've paid them for then automatically becomes yours from the date they put on the form and they sign it. So it's not like all is lost if you've not done this already. I didn't do this for years, and then found this out and then did it, and there you go, all sorted. And also, if you're not if you're not able to meet that person in person, say if they work in the Philippines or in South Africa or India or Pakistan, as my staff do, and it'd be a nightmare having to post this form out to them or this contract to them, and have to post it back. It would take forever, cost a fortune, probably get lost on the way. And so you can just get this done electronically. So we use a company called HelloSign. There's lots of different companies out there. EchoSign's another one. There's Signable, all these different things. So basically, it's a digital signing service. And so we create a PDF of this document. You put in a little box saying this is where your name is going to go, this is where your address goes, this is where your signature goes, and you send it through the app. So the one we use is hellosign.com. You send the document to your new staff member, your new virtual assistant. They fill in the gaps. It's like a PDF that they can fill in, and then they click a button, it signs it, it seals it, it's official, it's legal, and therefore you then have that document signed without ever having to meet that person or actually send it by snail mail across to the other side of the world or whatever. And so that's it. That is how you get around this incredibly common, unknown, but very actually serious problem that most small businesses have. And that is they don't think about this stuff. They haven't got one of these intellectual assignments of intellectual property rights documents signed. And therefore, they're actually at risk that somebody could put their hand up and say, you know what, I created that. That's my piece of work that you've been using, and they can get asked for royalties from you for the continued use of that. And they could actually ask you to stop using it if you didn't do. So even if your logo becomes a home brand and everyone knows it in your industry or whatever, the person that designed that logo is the one that actually owns it, and they could actually ask you to stop using it or ask you for royalties to continue using it. And if you suddenly become very rich and famous, they're probably going to want a little bit more money than if you do it now and get them to sign this document, which you'll probably do for free if you're just getting started. So that's it. Hopefully you found that helpful. There is more information about copyright on the UK government website. That's gov.uk/guidance/ownership-of-copyright-works. As always, you'll get all these links in our show notes. Please, if you're listening to this on the podcast, do leave us a review. Hit like, subscribe to the podcast. If you're on the YouTube, do the same. Hit subscribe right now. Make sure you don't miss any more useful tips like this. And for everyone else, thank you very much for listening, and take care. Speak to you soon.